Early show, 9:17, a little bit of change in with Jake. Back with Jake. You were on this time last year, weren't we?
It was about this time.
Well, and you are a supervisor for public awareness with Ameren Illinois, and it's great to have you in. You know, when we talk gas safety and really gas awareness too, I think it's always one of those things that it's great to know before you need to know.
Right. There's definitely a lot that can be taken for granted and a lot that we just don't really know about.
What amazes me is that over 900,000 customers rely on natural gas. And, you know, to me, even though, it should make sense with just that large of a number, you would think with electric, my mind kind of goes that way where you would see a smaller number, but still over almost 1 million people rely on it just like I do.
Absolutely. I mean, it's one of the safest, most reliable fuels we got out there, and it's used for so much between heating and cooking and everything else. I mean, it's just, it's awesome.
Well, and now going into that, you need skilled individuals to, maintain that and really work just like the on the electric side of things, you guys need it on the gas side of things too. And for listeners who may not be familiar about it, what does a natural gas journeyman, what's a day in the life kind of look like? If there is a typical one, with the exception of all the calls that I'm sure come in, what does one typically look like?
Well, we like the typical days where it's just kind of even keel, low key, but so I came from the field and it can actually consist of a lot of different things. Just a quiet day would be going around and completing a lot of compliance orders, whether we're painting meters to prevent corrosion or we're going in and turning gas on and relighting pilots for customers moving in, moving out. And then obviously the big one is just going out and investigating gas leaks. Anytime somebody smells that odor, just getting there as quickly as we can and investigate, see what we got.
Well, and it's just real quick too. The odor, I feel like, is one of those things that might, confuse some people or what is that odor? And to me, it's one of those where you know it once you smell it, correct?
You do. It's got a really distinct odor. So it's called mercaptan is what we actually add to the gas, because gas in its raw form is odorless and doesn't have a color. And when we pick it up from the interstate pipelines, that's when we add that odor to it. And we add it at a really low threshold. So we want you to be able to smell that early on before there's even a chance of it getting elevated. And so it's that really strong kind of a rotten egg odor is what a lot of people attribute that to, but it's definitely very distinctive to natural gas.
And it's one of those things to me where even if you're kind of questioning it, the best thing to do would be to call still, just to make sure.
Without a doubt. And that's a big part of our education push is if you smell gas, leave fast. And what that slogan means is we want you, again, like you said, even if there's a doubt, you're not sure, I'm not 100%. When in doubt, get out, get to a safe location down the street, down the block, call 911, call Ameren, and get us out there as soon as possible.
Well, and the dangers of that, I'm sure, is it could change at any moment, and you could have a pretty significant situation.
You can. So when we're dealing with natural gas, we have a flammable range where that's the concentration of gas in air that we're worried about. That's where it can sustain fire, explosions, that sort of thing. And that's why we put that odor in extremely at a really high threshold. So it's really low levels when you smell it, to get people to act on that quickly. That way we can get there and get that fixed or figure out what's going on, get it shut down.
Absolutely. And, going back into some of the more common tasks you just talked about inspections, repairs, emergency calls. Take me through a little bit of, your background, because this is how you started out, correct?
It is.
What was your favorite part of it? Was it the emergency calls or was it going, I just hope it's not gas,
Man, that's a tough question, because it's really a job that's just rewarding in a lot of different ways, right? So my favorite part of the job, if I had to pick one, would probably just be the customer interaction. Being able to meet our customers and talk to them on a day-to-day basis, and I can't really narrow that down to whether I'm there for a gas leak or if I was there for turning their gas on or relighting their pilots, or even if they just had a question. But the customer interaction is probably the most rewarding, just because you're meeting so many different dynamics of people and different diversity of folks out there. And that was really, really fun. And investigating a gas leak, when somebody calls us, that always brings a certain level of interest to it because it's a lot of troubleshooting.
How do you investigate one? I don't think I've ever actually asked that question to you. What's that process look like?
So we start off. We have an instrument called a CGI. It's a gas detector, and that's what we use. That's our primary instrument. But we go in. We make entry into the building first because we want to make sure we don't have any elevated levels in there. Mm-hmm. And once we've deemed that it's safe to be inside, or if it's hazardous environment, we get everybody out. Then you just start at ground one, where's the gas coming from, and we'll start tracking pipe. We'll look at appliances. We'll start probing holes in the ground outside, seeing if it's migrating from outside somewhere. So there's just a lot of different directions you could really take that.
So it really could go any way.
It can.
Is it ever just as simple as, like the old stoves and not working right? Or because I've heard that before, it's an old gas stove, or, maybe something was like a burner's. I don't know. Has that ever been the case?
Yeah. I mean, we've seen gas stoves not working properly. It's one thing we talk about is making sure you check your flames really well and looking to have that crisp blue flame. And
okay.
But yeah, we've had appliances not working right, not fitting right. We've had, a lot of times you can have malfunction on your appliance if you're, we're just getting out of wintertime. What do we do in the winter? A lot of times we're decluttering, right? Yep. And a lot of that clutter ends up around your furnace, around your water heater, and they actually need clean air to work. So you can look at things like that we find, and if it's coming from the outside, there's been times where we've been on leaks for hours, maybe a day, just trying to troubleshoot it and figure out where the root of it is, because it can come from any direction.
Man, that's interesting. Well, was this something you always wanted to do? When you were, growing up, or is this something a career you found? And I'm just fascinated by that.
So I right after high school, I was one of those that learned that college was just not a really good fit for me. I was not disciplined at the time, so to speak. And so I got to working in utility construction initially, and underground locating. And then that kind of segued my pathway into Ameren. A little secret is when I hired into Ameren, I actually wanted to be a lineman. I don't want to tell anybody that. But no, I loved linemen. But no, I actually hired in wanting to be a lineman. And then I got into the gas side of the business, and that was enough for me. I loved it and got to do a lot of cool things, build some cool things, and you learn a tremendous amount of stuff.
So how does the journey kind of start to become a lineman, or become on the gas side of things? You have an apprenticeship, and how long does it last?
Yeah, so our gas apprenticeship is 27 months. Mm-hmm. And the nice thing is Ameren provides all that training to the individual coming in. So we don't require any experience to start.
Wow.
A lot of stuff is helpful. Obviously HVAC and equipment operation definitely helps, but none of that's required, because when we come in and during our apprenticeship, we have 3 training centers across our state, Decatur, Pawnee, and down in Belleville. And so they get just a whole host of classes they take, on-the-job training. There's a lot of targeted specific training with equipment operation and stuff like that. So, wow. And then obviously the best crew to work from is those senior guys that have been doing it for a long time. Oh yeah, they've seen it all, right?
Well, and at Ameren, you don't have to worry about anyone, fighting on your neighborhood side. With that being
I'm gonna leave that one alone.
With that being said, how long does it normally take? Did we hit on that? Is it like a couple of years? You said
it's 27 months.
27. Okay, yep. So almost a little over.
A little over 2 years. Yep.
And you know what? I think it really showcases, though, how intensive the training is, and how important the role is too.
Yeah.
And with that, for the consumer side of things, we know that everyone that's showing up for Ameren has been trained, or if they're not, they're in the process of training. They're training with the best, and they're training with folks that truly know.
Yeah, and I mean, there's obviously, as with most apprentices or apprenticeships, there's all kinds of checks and balances and follow-ups and evaluations and everything that go into that.
Is that the most challenging part?
The training?
Yeah. What's the most challenging part, do you think, because you really have lived it?
The challenging part is it can be the time
Gotcha.
away, you know, because as with a lot of jobs, it's very demanding. But it's hard to say that's really a challenge because it's demanding, but it's rewarding in the same sense, right? So let's say the hardest part is probably dealing with the inclement weather. You know, I mean, spring's coming up, and that's going to be when the weather's nicest, but there's times you're out there digging and it's 95, 98 degrees outside and you feel like you're going to fall over. And there's times where we're out there and it's sub-zero temps and it's not like we can put enough layers on to keep warm.
Yeah.
Inclement weather is probably one of the most challenging parts, I would say.
I totally can see that. And now, with that being said, because I know that I'm probably getting torched, I don't even look at the text line anymore. Journeyman, not lineman, for all of you guys out there going, CJ, it's a gas journeyman, for the love of God. 9:28, we're going to come back and talk with Ameren some more. Really fascinating conversation. We'll come back, chat it up about the day in the life of a gas journeyman. More with Jake right after this on RiverBender.com, Roku TV.
Struggling with depression that just won't go away? At Precision TMS, we offer a non-invasive, drug-free treatment designed to target the areas of the brain linked to mood regulation. Using FDA-cleared transcranial magnetic stimulation, gentle magnetic pulses help reactivate underperforming brain circuits without surgery or sedation. Many patients experience real relief, even after other treatments haven't worked. Our experienced team provides personalized care every step of the way. Contact Precision TMS today to see if TMS therapy is right for you.
Throughout all life stages, you need someone in your corner, guiding you on your health and wellness journey. At OSF Healthcare, that's your primary care provider. Your OSF primary care provider is there for every stage of life. Find a provider today at osfhealthcare.org/primary.
Accidents happen in a heartbeat, but lives change forever. Whether it's a car crash, workplace injury, medical malpractice, or wrongful death, you don't have to face the consequences alone. Keith Short and Associates brings over 33 years of experience and a reputation for fighting fiercely for your rights. For relentless representation that you can trust, call Keith Short and Associates at 618-254-0055 today for a free consultation.
At Alton Elite Jiu-Jitsu, we help students of all ages build confidence, discipline, and real-world strength. Join a supportive community that challenges you to grow both on and off the mat. Experience the art of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with a 7-day free trial at our new location. Call 618-795-2692 or visit altonelite.com to start your journey today. Train hard, serve others, live elite at Alton Elite Jiu-Jitsu.
Do you need to declutter your space? Time to call me, the Queen of Junk. Since 1993, we have grown to be the leader in residential, commercial, and property management junk removal. At Sparks Junk Removal, we are eco-friendly. We recycle, donate, or repurpose items back into our community. Trash is our last resort to the landfill. Plus, with our all-inclusive service, our crews handle everything from labor to lifting and landfill fees. Give us a call or visit our website, sparksjunkremoval.net, to reclaim your space today.
.32, welcome back, Daily Show. Back with Jake and Ameren. So, Take me through, I was looking through the notes a little bit, and take me through the job briefings. Are those through every job you guys do, or just suspected, when it comes to a suspected leak, you guys always have a job briefing?
Yeah, we do a job briefing every day on every job.
Wow, okay.
And the job briefing is really just, that's where we kick the conversation off. And those job briefings actually start back at the shop before we even turn a wheel.
Wow.
So yeah, the job briefing is, it's a discussion between the crew leader and the crew. And why I say it starts off at the shop is we always kind of talk through, do we have the equipment we need, double checking the trucks and the trailers and the equipment, make sure everything's spot on and tied down right, and make sure it's ready to go. And do we have the equipment or the material that we need? Mm-hmm. And then we actually will go through and talk through exactly how are we going to get there? Is there construction along the route, areas we need to avoid? And then going through the safety briefing or the job briefing once we get on site is really just identifying everything that might sneak up on us, you know, because when you do, it's just like driving. When you drive the same route every day for a length of period, how many times you get on autopilot?
Right.
So when you do a similar job all the time, it's easy for us to get complacent. And our job briefings are just a way for us to kind of, break that up so we avoid that, identify what's out there that we need to be aware of, make sure everybody's on the same page, and, God forbid something happen, how are we going to alter that plan and rebrief and reassess and make sure everybody goes home?
Well, and I think it's so crucial because, your job is in a dangerous line of work at some, during times, and to be able to really know for the public's perspective that on everything you guys are meeting and talking about it. I think does it lead to stronger morale between the crews too, do you think, just to have some conversations and chat it up? Because it seems like every time I see a crew from you guys, it really is really good work and environment for everybody involved.
Yeah, we're spending at least half of our life with the guys at work. So it's definitely your secondary family. Yeah. Sometimes it's your primary family. Mm-hmm. And we even have some folks that, we have siblings that work together in the company. So there's a lot of that banter going on as well. But yeah, it's definitely a family atmosphere a lot of times because we spend so much time together. Going
back to the briefings, has there ever been a time where it made a big difference? Was it, it could have been a small job that you guys kind of went into going, all right, let's just have our briefing and discuss this. And then you go in there going, man, thank God we had that briefing. Has there ever been a time for that?
Yeah. It could be something as simple as thinking we're just going to go in and trench in a new service and be in and out of there in an hour. And then you get there and you realize utilities aren't marked properly, or maybe the marks they're faded. Maybe, somebody came through and wiped them out. There's a lot of different what ifs or audibles we have to take in a normal day. But aside from that, it's also just being aware of your surroundings, where, maybe, we got a guy operating a machine and he can't really hear a lot what's going on around him. And one of the crew see something going on behind them and kind of wave them down, shut the machine down. So yeah, we've had that. We've had people kind of walking into our job site. Really? Where we're not realizing, maybe the operator doesn't realize, so we kind of wave them and shut them down so we can get them out to a safe spot. Just curious people.
Now, I got to ask just the CJ question. How frustrating is it when someone picks up those flags and starts walking away with them? Because I've seen that happen before, to cut grass and they put them back. And should we leave them until you guys are done and then cut our grass, or put them back at least?
Absolutely. The flags need to stay. So the paint's the legal mark, and the flags are huge as far as being able to identify what's out there.
That's what I thought.
So yeah, we always, once you see that paint and flags go down, yeah, we need to mow our grass, mow around them. We prefer you not take them out and put them back if you can avoid it. But if you have to, those flags definitely need to go back on the marks. But the best thing to do is just work around it the best you can. Mm-hmm. And then, once that project or that job is done, then we can take those out.
Some good information. I just kind of wanted an excuse to keep yelling at people, because I'm big on that. Put those flags back. We need to keep those flags and the paint intact the best we can. Well, it's nice to know how important, what to do too, and probably not the best to put them back down, just leave them if we can get through the end of work. Okay.
Yeah, and we got to think about what the marks are. What is that representing? Well, that's stuff that's buried underground.
Right.
some people may not. I mean, it may not be life-threatening hitting a communications or a cable TV line, but we've got power, we've got gas, we've got water, everything else that can be really catastrophic. So.
Well, and just with the efficiency and of all the workload that Ameren does have, to keep things moving too. And going into this, what's the number? Is it 811? Is Julie's number?
Yeah, 811 is a nationwide direct line to Julie, or if you happen to be in another state working, it's 811 is a direct line to whatever state one call system.
Fantastic. And now, so what are the first steps? If, someone we talked about earlier starts going, man, is that gas? And they have that thought when they smell. What's that first step look like? And what's the procedure that follows, just to kind of maybe help anyone that might have to go through this? Yeah,
again, and I want to reiterate the what you just said is when even in doubt, if you think you smell something that might be natural gas, we really want you to just jump on it right then and there and call immediately. Get out to a safe location, call 911, call Ameren. And when we talk about getting out to a safe location, get down the street, get away from the house, because we don't know what the levels are. Yeah. And everybody's sensitivity to smell is completely different. You may smell gas really, really well.
I worked in sewers.
I may or may not smell it as well.
It at all. That's what scares me about it. Is and this is one of those things, I don't know if people at home have ever had that, where they don't trust their sight, because I don't trust my sense of smell at all. And it's, what if I've been missing it for so long, I'm just numb to it at this point, type of thing.
Here's the best thing. It's a free call. Doesn't cost you anything for us to come out and check it out. But what we'll do is you make that phone call, and we'll get out there immediately. And we'll just, like I said, we'll go through start to finish. We're going to check and make sure there's not hazardous level inside. If there is, we're going to get everybody out. If they're still in there, hopefully they're down the street waiting on us. And we're going to start checking piping, appliances, and all that stuff.
So before I let you go, just to reiterate, really, I think being a journeyman really is a rewarding career. And just, I could imagine just the stories you guys have of trying to find certain causes of the gas leak or smells or why they're originating. But just on the, the personal side of it, for maybe a young guy that's out there or woman that's out there going, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do if they're in high school or things have been going well, but it's not really, they aren't finding their career path. What's the advice for anyone that maybe is just considering it, number one, or even if they're not considering it, the plus of being a journeyman?
Oh, man. The plus side of it is just the community involvement. Yeah. Again, it's learning a trade. And it's not just learning the trade of working with natural gas. I mean, you're going to learn a little bit about pipe fitting. You're going to learn a little bit about how to run equipment. You're going to learn a little bit about HVAC. We talked about the appliances earlier. I mean, what does, a crisp blue flame mean? Well, we're going to learn that during that apprenticeship. You're going to learn how to diagnose appliances, because we want you to know that, hey, you should have that blue flame on your stove. If you don't, if it's orange or if it's yellow, that can be a sign of malfunction. Yeah. That can be a sign of CO. And that's what you learn as a journeyman. You learn how to diagnose those appliances. You learn how to work on those things. If you're an individual that loves to work with your hands and you like a change of environment every day, then hands down, this is a great job to be in, because you're always in a different environment, whether it's somebody's front yard, whether you're in a commercial parking lot, whether you're along the side of the road, or you're in a new development putting in brand new main and service to something. The environment's always changing, and you get to the satisfaction and the acknowledgement of building something, and you really are, you're powering and enabling those customers to be able to have that gas into their house, to be able to heat and cook and all that stuff. And so it's really hard to kind of single down one thing, right? And that's my advice is, if you love working outside, if you like working with your hands, if you like to learn a new trade, hands down, this is the place to be.
Yeah, I like that. And now, before I let you go, what's the number to call if we suspect a gas leak?
If you think you smell that odor, 800-755-5000. 800-755-5000. Make sure I said that right. I said that a little fast. And but yeah, you could call that number immediately. And again, we don't charge for that. It doesn't cost a dime for us to come and check those things out, even if we're just, I'm not real sure about that. You know, I want to
calm the anxieties. By just knowing,
that's what we're paid to be there for.
Yeah.
You know, we signed on for that, and we just want to make sure that everybody stays safe.
Jake, always great talking with you.
Same to you.
9:43, a little bit of change. We'll come back, wrap up the 9 o'clock hour after this one. We'll come back with more next.